Are we in the building? Yo, there we are. I think we got it. I think we got it. If y'all can hear me, give me a shout out. If y'all can hear what I'm talking about, if you can hear me, just hit a one on that button so we can get this thing popping. Welcome back, people. We got Phoenix Rising here, coming via Honduras. What's good, Phil? We got a good signal. We got a good signal. We got a good signal in the building. So we're gonna let a couple more people get in here. We're gonna go into on how we can beat corporate America, or as you call it, Babylon, at their own game. And we're gonna start from there. I want to give a couple of shout outs to Irie, Phil as well. Phil did some research, on what we're going to get into right now. I'm good here. I'm good here. Welcome back, people. Come on and get in the building. We have some good information, and I know it's been a minute. It's just I've been busy, and we got enough people in the building, and we're gonna go in. Irie, and so what we talking about here is they're gonna win signal. Check it, check it. It's a go. It's a go. Thank you, sweetie. And so, how do we beat corporate America? First, we're gonna, first this information goes straight to those that are trying to get their way out. Right? Some people are not happy with the condition that they're living in corporate America. I'm not talking about the ones that are happy and they what you call them, clones, or are they just happy and with that, I know a lot of people aren't. They dread going in, clocking into the 9 to 5, right? And so if you're the ones who dread getting up and going, to um, to the plantation, 9 to 5. If you're the one who dread it, and you're like, yo, man, I know there got to be a better way than what I'm getting ready to talk to. What I'm getting ready to talk to you about, you'll be happy about that. And I'm gonna just give you the two scenarios of what Babylon offers, and then we're gonna see how we can move around that, right? So we start off, boom, you come into this reality, right? Your parents, mother and father, what you'll do does is they send you to what you call kindergarten, right? And so that's when the programming begins, right? And then you go to grade school, you go to first grade, know, through sixth grade, as you call it. And what they do is they teach you on how to be how to get a job, right? How to fit into the society that they created and where you can fit in. And so they put you through their education system. So you go into school and you're getting information going into your subconscious mind on what a good employee should be and what they should know and how they should act and so forth, right? So we go to school for at least 20 some odd years, since sixth grade or fifth grade, 5 years old, to you about 25, 26, depending if you're going to get your bachelor's and so forth, if you're going to continue to get your doctors, right? So you go to school, you get to high school, you pass high school, you're like, oh, Pat, you graduated high school with 65. You're like, oh, shit. Right? Right? And then you go on to college, right? And then some people don't go to college. They don't even like school. They be like, yo, they just happy that they went through it. They went through the whole thing, and so they go off to the military because they don't know what to do with themselves, right? And the others like, no, I want to continue. I want to be this. I want to be a doctor. I want to be a lawyer. I want to be. Most people wind up doing something that they ain't even go to school for, or they didn't imagine themselves doing or being. And so we go to college, right? And so you go to college. Hey, I wanna major in business. I wanna major in psychology. I wanna be a teacher, and they go in to be what they want to be, right? And when the time they graduate, right? Or what they call it, they become an alumni or Illuminati, right? You just finished the Illuminati's course on how to be a productive member in their society. And so you graduate, and it's not what you know, it's who you know. That's why people go to different schools. Actually, you know, depending on your income bracket that your parents are in, determines what school you probably go to, and that depends on the connection or the networking you get. When you go to school, it's all about networking anyway. Usually you go to one of the bigger schools, or what they call the expensive schools, and then usually they network with each other while they're at school. So it is actually a networking that goes on at school. If you don't have connections, you go to one of the regular ones they give us, and by the time we graduate, you're talking about we probably about $30,000 in debt by the time you graduate, right? Not to say that you can't be successful, but you'd be good at whatever you do anyways. So you could be good in Babylon society. You'd be good at whatever you put your mind to. However, they know how our subconscious mind works, so they flood our subconscious mind with the information that they want us to attract to ourselves. And what we attract to ourselves is their choices of what they give us is what we attract to ourselves. So they either say you want to be A, B, C, or D. We go to school to be A, B, C, or D. And most of the time we go to school because we want to earn a good wage, buy a house, buy a car, money in the bank. Those three things. And this is the reason why we go to school. Shul. Remember, school is shul. Shul in the Hebrew means hell. And so, but this is how how corporate America programs us. When you go to school, you have to go pick up your program card. That's what it's called, program card. They probably change it right nowadays. In my day, it was called a program card because you're being programmed. And so, once we finish getting programmed, right, and we graduate from the education system, like I said, if you're graduating from college, depending on what you're studying or what school you're going to, determine the debt that you're going to be in when you graduate. Because whether you pay or not, or whether your parents take out a second mortgage on their house to pay your education, which probably the first 2 years you're going to go partying anyways. And so they give us this option is what corporate America gives us. And so you're going to work, you're going to get a job till you retire, whether it's 30 years. I know I used to be a correction officer, so they told us I worked for oil field as well, and they told us you graduate at 30. You retire after 34 years. I was pushing 29, 30 when they told me. I was like, yo, that means I'm gonna retire what, 65? And I just finished seeing my uncle retire, and then he transitioned maybe a couple months later. And I was like, Dad, he didn't even, because he talked, he said that for years. All he was talking about was, yeah, when I retired. So I give kudos to the guy that retired in good health and everything. So most likely the condition that they put us in to work those 30 years, whatever job it is, most likely, the condition up in the Western hemisphere, in the Western societies, most likely the condition that we under, is not very conducive to our being, especially if, you a carbonated being that you recharge yourselves via the sun. So, and so in a condition, it's like they put us where our body is more conducive to the sun. Our cells rejuvenate in requiring the four major elements, whether it is air, right, oxygen. Where up in, like I said before, I'm gonna say this before I go into what I really want to tell you. Oxygen is, how we reproduce ourselves in our body, right? And how your brain function is it needs good oxygen, right? So we in a Western society where we gotta first, we gotta deal with our environment that we're gonna be in, right, for those 34 years, until we what we call we retire. So in those 34 years, you breathing in carbon monoxide. If you're in a big city that has thousands of cars, millions of cars roaring up and down the street, and then you have what you call the residue from the tires that burns, and it turns into a gas, or it goes into the air that you inhale, along with the brake pads of all these cars going up and down, and plus they cut the trees down, so it ain't like we're getting good oxygen. 9 out of 10 times we're not even close to water, where sometimes you can get the oxygen from the water when the sun hits the water and it evaporates, and then you can get oxygen that way. So we have all these elements, and then we go ahead and we go bathe in fluoride and chlorine, and we already know what happens when chlorine and fluoride gets into your body via your pores. So we already know what condition that we're in that. And so we're doing this for 34 years, right? Day in and day out. You do the whole fluoride thing with your teeth, and we drink the water from the plastic bottles, which they say is a real small amount of toxicity, not enough to really affect you. Probably not in one serving, but if you're doing the whole thing for years at a time, 30 years, and then it'll take effect. Even with the food that I'm not just talking about the air, we're talking about the water quality and the UV radiation, right? Because now we're getting closer to the sun. Because we're moving closer to the sun. How you doing, Nicole? Nicole, I'm gonna get to you in a little bit. Hold on, right? I'm setting it up for what I'm getting ready to say. And so you realize, what's up, Divine? And so we realize that in 34 years, we're in this element, and we're starting to rotate closer to the sun, because we're going into what's a sun cycle, right? When we come, you have sun cycle, moon cycle, and it equals 24,000 years, which they call a precession, which we watch real closely, or we was into watching the movement of the stars and so forth in the planetary alignments, because we would know when we are rotating into a certain type of era, or like we're rotating closer to the sun, so we'll receive more UV radiation. And so carbonated beings work with UVB radiation. You have a lot of UVA, which is toxic, and it mutates cells. So of course you're going to get cancer. Whether you're eating freaking meat or not, you're going to get cancer. You're liable, because the changing of your cells in that type of environment, including the air that we're breathing in, the food that we're eating, and the UVA radiation is going to make things alter in our bodies, right? So we got to go through all those different changes in the environment, right? Because we don't grow our own food in the northern hemisphere. It's very, all the food that we eat is imported from countries like this right here. And so obviously for corporate America or corporate the Western world to thrive and enjoy the luxury that they do, countries like this has to be suppressed, right? Countries like Honduras, Guatemala, the Central Americas has to be, even though they're high on natural resources, but those countries that are high on natural resources are usually suppressed. So countries that what they call the first world, the Western worlds, the Western worlds, so they can enjoy the luxury that they have, and so these countries get suppressed, and or the natural resources get siphoned, to the Western worlds, right? And so once we graduate, and then next thing you know, you want to get a mortgage, right? We're already 30, 40,000, maybe 50, depending what school you went to, $1,000 in debt. Then we put on the house with a 20, 30-year mortgage, right? That the bank really owns, for that time. And so we're not really owners if we're taking out a 30-year mortgage. So that means we're paying 4 times what the house is really worth, right? And then you accrue, credit, whether it's your credit card and so forth. We buy other things that we need. We have a vehicle that depreciates that we put our money into. Every year it depreciates, and we always want to get the best looking cars, That's we are. Plus, we like to look nice, and we put finer things on. And so once we fall into that trap, and then then you put the kids on, you get 2 or 3 more kids, hey, now you have all this debt. So now when we become conscious of our environment, then we start wondering, we're like, yeah, I understand, what so-and-so is saying. He's 100% right, but we're already in so much debt, and, we have families. And so making the move to say, you know what, I don't like the environment I'm in, and I got to raise my kids up in this environment, and so forth. Yeah, I would like to do that, but you know what? Guess what? We're already working behind the 8 ball, because guess what? Babylon already knew that we was going to wake up to who and what we are, right? We were going to figure out on how the hell we get out of the situation that we in. Some don't realize that we're in a situation. So we're going to let the dead bury the dead, right? So some are going to wake up. Everybody is not going to wake up at the same time, right? Some people has a DNA. Your DNA is set up for you to wake up at a certain time due to your time reference, right? Due to the matrix of when you was in your mother's womb, right? And that goes with what we call the zodiac, which is really the Ayunet that it found in Egypt, in Hathor's temple, right? And so your DNA is set up to wake up at a certain time, right? Or what we call time, natural time, right? And so we're waking up, and they know we waking up. That's why they hid the Ayunet from us, right? The Ayunet is, what we use. They call it astrology now. They stole it, and they put their names, their gods to it, and they only had They only had 3 degrees of that information. So there's another 6 they don't have no clue about. And so we run and we study the teaching of Ayunet of what you call the zodiac. The zodiac is the language of the gods, actually, right? And it's how we did everything pertaining to it. So they giving us a little piece of it, and they just giving us half of it and saying, yeah, this is how you run your life. And you were like, yo, you God, right? They say, yeah, your DNA, is a blueprint. You have Dr. Lipton saying DNA is a blueprint, right? It's just a blueprint. Nah, that shit ain't just a blueprint. It's a blueprint, but who is the design, the architect of the blueprint? You actually put that in. But that's another subject, man, I'm going to talk to you about later. We're going to stay focused. When you start focusing, you start slowing down your mind, man, and you start, first you have a whole bunch of thoughts coming in, and you start slowing that down, breaking that down to 1 or 2 thoughts. So I'm going to go back on course, right? How are we going to get back to corporate America, right? So we get in the situation, and when we want to make that move, when we're waking up, right, we find ourselves behind the 8 ball. We find ourselves in debt. We want to make that move, right? But we have to pay this money back, right? And then we have children, and so the first thing we say, like any move, is how I'm sustaining myself. You have people telling you, yeah, don't worry about that, man. You just go get a tent and run out into the jungle. I'm like, first you got to think. That's the first thing you got. It's chess, not checkers, right? In chess, you think 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 moves, as many moves ahead, right? And so that's what we do. And to just say, hey, let's grab you could do that, and and you might not run into a brick wall. However, it's learning lessons that you're gonna learn. I'm just helping you learn those lessons faster because I went through all the okay, what would I do now? I did it with a family. I got kids. I did the whole 9, so I know what you're going through when you're waking. For those that are aware of the environment, and they're like, I don't actually want my children to come through in that type of environment, and so we start thinking of how to do it. So first thing you do is like the only way, the first step, right? When we wake up, and I'm talking to those that are waking up to the environment, that they raise their conscious awareness of the environment, and they realize that they're in a toxic environment. When I'm talking about with the 4 major elements that your cells reproduce with, right? And you realize you're up in the northern hemisphere and you're not really breathing in oxygen. Your brain works on oxygen, and you're breathing in carbon monoxide, right? So, and we're not talking about the water and the food and so forth, and the UVA radiation. So we think we waking up and we say, yo, so how we get the fuck out of here, right? And so we we're gonna do this together. I know everybody's like, "Oh, it's your personal journey. You got to do it by yourself." And da da da. You're gonna do it by yourself. But this is, but the way we get out of this is we get out of it together. I don't know. I don't know how hard that is. We have to do it together. Everybody want to do it by themselves and be like, you know what? I don't really want to, and nah, it ain't going by ourselves. Nah, there is no by ourselves. So we actually do it together. And so you're gonna see, you're gonna do it by yourself. You're gonna see what I'm talking about. It's no by yourself. You're usually gonna call somebody up. Hey, what do you think? I like your opinion. I'm planning on doing this. I'm planning on doing that. You're calling somebody up, or you're saying, yo, can I go out there? Can you point me in the right? That's not by yourself. So we all gonna need help from each other. That's gonna be rule. That's gonna be number one. You gotta understand. Put your ego to the side and think it's all about you and so forth. We all gotta bring what we could bring to the table. Whatever the shit is that we could bring to the table, let's bring it. Right? We get together with like-minded people who wants to leave, who wants to say, you know what, I like to, move to the Central Americas, whether it's Central America, Honduras, the tropics, whether it's Africa. We still have to get together, like-minded people, and we make that move together. We come up with the next best move together as a unit, and that's how you're gonna make it out of Babylon. The mental slavery that we in, right, is we working together, and we see what we good at and how it could work. So so you figure out you're in Babylon now, right? You do your 34 years, and most of the conditions that's up there, most likely it's set up so we can go to the pharmaceutical people by the food they're giving us in the air and the conditions that they're putting us in. If we worked in a cubicle, that means it must have been a high rise or some type of a building that's built from iron beams, and you're running high power wire to it, right? Then you're producing a electromagnetic field that actually could electromagnetically. This is by the power lines that's in these buildings that work in, or in some of them are 20 stories, 30 stories, 5 stories. So what you have is electromagnetic field that's being produced, and actually it magnetizes the iron in your blood. That's why you have certain women that get lumps in their breasts, because what's happening is they probably worked in those type of conditions, and the iron in their blood become magnetized, so they all come together as a lump, and then they'll then it causes cells to mutate, and next they got breast cancer. Bam, everything ain't all, and including the food that we're eating, and that also affects how our cells reproduce. I mean, yes, how they reproduce or how they mutate. It's your environment, and so as we know, so now we're saying, hey, most of us is in these conditions, and most of us can't, or we haven't figured out yet how to move. We're like, yeah, I want to do that, man, but I got 3 kids right now, man, and you know what? One is in college, and I'm paying them, so I want to do this. So I came up with an idea that's probably better than what Babylon has to offer. Not probably, it is better than Babylon has to offer. However, for this to work, we have to do it together. And this is where I come into with Nicole, who came in earlier, which I put a video back out, and I said that there was 400 acres, right? It is a guy up here selling 400 acres, beautiful land, right, for $424,000. Oh, wow, that's a lot of money. As a group, is that a lot of money? And this ain't no, hey, I present you a deal and, PayPal me and shit like that. This is actually on how we can get out and we can actually do this. I was going to do it with land that we acquired, Kazama Garifuna. And however, I heard a lot of people say, well, I like to do that, but, it will still be on your land. If anything happens to you, then that'll lead. Okay, there's the scary demon, right? So I was like, okay, so good. I was like, I like all ideas, man. I don't care what it is. There's no such thing as a stupid question. I don't care if it's high vibration, low vibration. We should go ahead and ask that question. And then so we could just say that freaking, that's the first thing we can't move in doubt. That's the first thing we got to know what the fuck right? So what we do is and everybody be investing. Instead of me talking you here and giving you good information, valuable information, and at the end of the day, I say, hey, why don't you give me some? Can you send me something in my PayPal? You know, for the information I give you, and I'm like, you know what you do? You save that PayPal money. This is land altogether, right? It's about an acre to 10 grand, right? And so it's two of you, or if you don't got 10 grand, got my three. I got my three. We didn't even have the guy who's selling the property. He said, hey, you can give me you can put a $100 down and pay the rest monthly. That would be like $2,500 down and pay $200 until we get this land, right? And so 50 of us will do the trick because you go 50 and with 10 grand, right? $1,000 with it, you know, that's enough to buy land. Everybody gets an acre, depending whether you came in with your uncle, your you know, sister, whatever. We put our money together. You you're still with me on here, right? Right. This is how we, you know, everything can't be spirit. You know, you gotta have balance. You know, you could be spiritual, and then you have to deal with it here, right? So, so we say, okay, now we have 10 grand. Put in. You know, there's 400 acres. The slopes. I'm going this weekend with Phil. We're gonna go. We're gonna video. I'm in. Got me? Can you hear me? You hear me? I'm in there. All right. So we right. So okay, it's 50 of us, right? We put together $10,000 each. We purchase land. You know, these slopes that's got more than a slope, right? And you could put your own crops up in there, right? So coming up with financially, people come, they were like, you know, I need a reason, you know, how will I earn this? They come in with, we're going to take away the money here, right here. Right here, we're going to take away everybody's fear about money. Because that's what stops people is, I don't have the money, I'm trying to save up enough money so I can go ahead and make it out there. Then they come out here with $800 and then they figure out by the time they get to their location, they got $100 left, they got to go back, right? So what we do is we say, hey, this ain't a sprint, man. It's a marathon. You know what? We set goals, and so some people like, hey, look, I could pay such and such. It'll take me 8 months, or whatever months it takes. Right? That's fine, but at least you have land, right? Now check this out. Now on the slope, we have more than 100 acres of a slope area. Right? 100 acres of slope area. Like I said, you put plantains. Plantain makes the byproduct makes veneer. It makes plywood. It makes styrofoam, where, you know, what they're using now of the plastic ain't messing up the earth, right? That's one. In between the plantains, you could plant trees, coffee trees, right? Coffee trees. We won't. I mean, coffee trees. And by cutting up, are you hearing me? Are you hearing me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Am I breaking up? I'm breaking up. You got me? Phil, how I'm sounding? Ari, you can hear me? Huh? I'm breaking up, man. I'm breaking up. Dang. They got me. They got me breaking up. I'm as close as I can get to the router. All right. Well, I'm going in. If you can't hear me, we'll do it again. All right. Okay. So what we came up with, you have 100 acres of slope. We actually there's more than 100 acres of a slope of the slope area, right? So what we do is we plant coffee trees in between the plantains, right? On 1 acre, you could put 680 coffee trees, right? On 1 acre, right? 680 coffee trees on 1 acre. You're with me here on the math. This is how we're gonna create our own residual income. You're just not gonna get an acre of land, right? But now it's gonna include a residual, because everybody's worrying about a residual. Like I said, we're gonna take away the money here of how I'm gonna make this, how I'm gonna make that, right? You're with me right now. Stay with me, right? Because we do all the research we're gonna do. We did research, right? So there's 100 acres. And in that 100 acres, in between the plantains or whatever food you want to, grow, right? You put coffee trees. 680 coffee trees to an acre. So that means you have 100 acres. That means you could put 680 coffee trees, right? 680 coffee trees. With me? Clap your hands if you're with me. Clap your hands if you're with me. Right? So 680, each coffee tree produces about 10 pounds of coffee. Right? So that's 680,000 times 10 pounds of coffee. Times 10. Right? You doing the math with me? You got me? So coffee goes for a pound, about $1.50 a pound. So you put $1.50 a pound by that number you came up with, 680,000 times 10,000. You need me to restart my feed? Dang. You kidding me, right? Restart my feed? Hit me up. You hear me? Ben, can you hear me? Phil, can you hear me? All right. So they can hear me. So, you can hear me? Irie? You hear me? Right? So we have, they can hear me. So we have, let me back it up. Let me back it up to you again. All right? This is how focused we are. Right? We have over 100 acres of slope. Well, let's say we're just going to use 100 acres of it, right? Because there's 400 acres in this property that we just purchased. Everybody, 50 of us, maybe less, depending on, somebody might come in and say, hey, look, I want 5 acres. Fuck, I don't want 1, right? So we're saying we have 50, right? And so if we all put in, it costs $424,000. We could talk the guy down if we're going to buy it right out. We could say, hey, look, we got a 350 cash here, boom, and they'll probably lower it. But since most likely that's not how we're going to do it, right? We're probably going to put like a quarter down, and we're going to pay a monthly payment, probably about $20 a month until we buy the shit, right? But we're going to have to be on this page. And so you just don't get an acre of land, right? Because if you notice, right, it's 500 grand that we're going to come in with. That's leaving 75,000 available, and this is what we're going to use to purchase the coffee trees, plant them, and maintenance of it, and we can hire specialists as well in Honduras. Boom, that'll cover that. So it ain't like they something left over. I'm not pocketing shit, and you don't realize that I'm the real deal. And I'm telling you how we can do this, but this only works as us together. The last time I put this out, I ain't put this information out because I know I got people on here right here. They're going to want the location. They're going to try to get to you. They're going to try to get to it before we execute it. So I ain't put that much information out, and I definitely didn't put the coffee thing out because that's how we're going to make our residual income. So the residual is going to be by us able to put 680 coffee. We ain't even talking about the plantains, right? And what else we're going to grow. That's going to be for us to eat, And so this is what we're going to use, and then we're going to put the coffee back on their market and give it to them and sell it to them for our residual income, right? And then we take that and we build our schools and whatever else we need to build. You need to build your house, your Adobe style, however style you like to build it. Living in harmony, of course. And so we have that residual coming in because everybody's worrying about how I'm going to survive. And so we trying to kill that right there. And so this is how we're going to do that until you figure out another way. Because if you know a better way than what I'm presenting right here, let me know. Right? And so what we have is, like I said, 680 trees put on 100 acres, right? That turns out to be 680,000 trees. And each tree produces 10 pounds a year, right? So you have 10, multiply that by 680. And then coffee goes for $1.50 a pound. And so you got $1.50 a pound, multiply that, you wind up coming up with a certain number. When that number comes out, you divide it by 50, and it's going to be about $215,000 per person. That's your residual income. Boom. Now you know how you're going to make your money. You don't have to worry about that shit. Now I can go to the next thing. And that's how this is more better than what Babylon's offering you. As a group, because you might have one or two of us who makes well over that, but as a group, are we doing it like that? Are we moving like that? So we could do this once, we do it twice. I know areas all over this place where they be like, here, we have to buy it back. That's why I say, that's why we have that group, Buying Back the Jungle. You can go ahead and put it on Facebook. It's called Buying Back the Jungle. I put that group. Everybody who's interested, I'll get into that group. It's called Buying Back the Jungle, right? However, I had to take care of certain other things, so it slowed me down, but everything in divine timing, right? So that's the way out of how we beat corporate America, is we provide a better opportunity than corporate America. You follow. And you bring up every question you got, put it up in here so we can get to it. We're gonna need organizations. We're gonna need people who know how to organize and how to make this work, right? And we're gonna have to organize. It's there for the taking. It's there for us. We just gotta believe in ourselves. We just have to believe in ourselves, and we can do this together. We do it. You do it once, we could do it again. This is what they're afraid of. They're afraid of us coming together, planning together. There's an idea. Boom. Yo, can we do this? Yeah, we're sitting on a round table. Hey, how about this? Has anybody got a better plan than what I just told you? Let me hear it. You have a better plan than this on how we get our own residual, right? Because everybody talk about every spirituality thing in the world. Yeah, you know what? This is what your reality is. They still using money, and they tell you not to use it. And I'm like, yo, where you get that at? They tell you don't mess with the bank, but they got a credit card or a debit card that works with the bank. And I'm like, really? And yeah, it's in your name. But so you don't want us to move like that as well. So it's a bunch of yes. We have to be balanced. We're going to be in the world, but not of the world. Right? So we're going to use what they give us, and we're going to bail ourselves out. We're going to take what they give us. And right here's the opportunity. It just happened to fall on my lap. And I know that I'm not going to do it by myself. And I know I can't do it by myself. I know we do this together. I know that much. And so I say, you know what? Let me bring it to those that want this. We're gonna have to invest in ourselves. We could take our 10 grand and we could, buy freaking shoes and other shit that depreciates, but this don't depreciate right here. It don't depreciate. So, if we don't have the 10 grand, you know what? Hey, Day, yo, hold on. Let me call my uncle, man. He probably go half with me. Everybody goes half on everything else in the world, but not to fucking free themselves from a society that's freaking plaguing us and poisoning us. And so here's an opportunity. I'm saying we could all make a date and say, you know what? Once we get the 50 people that's interested, we all make a date on this. The same date we come out here and we come see everything together. You follow? I'm not gonna be over here and tell you, okay, send this and that. Hell no. We're gonna have to make a date, and everybody who's serious about this, we're gonna come out here on the same date, right? And we're gonna come out here and we're gonna see everything together. That's what I'm about. Everybody's waiting for the hook. They were like, yo, wait. There ain't no hook. I'm as straight as you get. Ain't no hook. Sorry guys, there's no there's no hook on this motherfucker. is us freeing ourselves and us showing people that if we work together, we could what the fuck we want to do. You can do it by yourself. I did the shit by myself. Good idea, Donna. You know, let's bring all the ideas, man. Because you know what, some have what we doing right here. We networking right here. That's correct. I hear you. I hear about that in Costa Rica with the coffee. I hear that. If it's better out there, then let's do it. If they're gonna, and we can get it with an acre, you can get an acre of land where you could build whatever you want on it, your house or whatever, and it includes freaking more than 100 acres where coffee could get in. Fine, we'll do that too. I mean, it's just a matter of us doing it together. We do it once. We buy back our own jungle. At the same time, we're buying back the jungle. It's not being given to you. You're not going to run out there and put your tent out there and say, yeah, I'm right here, and there's a mango tree right there, right? If you plant that mango tree, 9 out of 10 times there's a barbed wire on that whole land. 9 out of 10 times they got cows running through it. And 9 out of 10 times they're going to tell you get up and get out. They'll let you there for a day or two, unless it's a national park. Everybody goes to these places. They go to a national park. They pay $20 a day, and they take videos, and they were like, "Yay, welcome! You know, it's so beautiful out here." And you paying $20, right? You're paying $20 a day, all through Costa Rica. If it wasn't $10 a day, we was paying security. So this way, you know, we having our own. You know, yeah. If we could rent, we could buy too. You don't have to be the owner, but you could buy it. Because ain't nobody giving us shit, and this is a way out. We do it once, we could do it again. And for those that didn't make the first trip, boom, they could make the second one. All of this is mountains up this joint, and they almost like here. So we could do it. We got a plan. And we got a plan and that includes a residual income. Until somebody else comes up with a better plan, we stick to that. Everybody winds up with 220 grand a year, I think it is, somewhere around that. And I'm cutting up here. So what I'll do is I'll do a part 2. All right, I'm gonna do a part 2 because my signal's messed up. It's kind of cloudy. I got a messed up signal, so I'm gonna do a part 2, or I do a recap, and I'll go over this. But y'all could go ahead and join Buying Back the Jungles on Facebook. All right, I'm gonna do part 2 of this when I ain't gonna take too long, man. I you know, it's been like a month since I came back. I was live, so what I'm gonna do is we're gonna keep this coming every other day. Every other day, there's gonna be downloads every other day. All right. So we can stay more in contact with what's going on. And so everybody else, y'all could keep on doing your research. You know, coffee is a commodity, right? And we give it back to them. They like Starbucks, well, we give them coffee with their Starbucks, and we rebuild our own fucking community. All right? I love myself.